That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of That Sounds Fun. The Seasons. Our first official day of summer is here on the podcast. Now, I know it's not exactly right, but it is the start of our summer season on That Sounds Fun this year. I'm your host, Annie F. Downs. I am so happy to be here with you today. Today on the show, we are answering the question, what is summer and how do I define it in my life? But before we dive into today's show, I want to tell you about one of our incredible partners. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Did you know that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year? And you may be experiencing this because you're one of the dudes who listens to the show, or you may have a guy in your life who's feeling the pressure of providing and keeping it all together. Real strength comes from opening up about what you're carrying and doing something about it. So if that is you, please talk to someone. BetterHelp is a great place to start. They have over 30,000 therapists, and they are the world's largest online therapy platform. And it is so convenient. You can just schedule a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your already busy summer life. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our friends get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/thatsoundsfun. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thatsoundsfun. And today on the show, Pastor Mike Kelsey is back to help us kick off summer, and I cannot wait for you to hear this episode. I genuinely have not stopped thinking about it since we recorded it. And today, we're talking about some of the things you'd expect, like the fun of being outside and making space for rest and the joy of summer. But we're also talking about the ways summer can be really hard, the expectations and pressure we put on it, and some really interesting insecurities it can bring up. This is a note-taking episode for sure. So if you're following along in your TSF Seasons Guidebook, we are on page 74 of our summer pages. Now, if you don't have a copy, this is a great day to go ahead and purchase your guidebook. You will get winter, spring, and summer. We'll send you fall in a couple of months, but you'll get the whole year today, and it is packed with fun things. We've got some this or that. We've got some coloring pages. We've got some word finds, and every episode has a page where you can take notes that goes along with that episode. And again, we're on page 74 today. So grab your copy today at anniefdowns.com/seasons. You'll download it right away, print it off, 3-hole punch it, get ready to take notes right now. So, okay, here is our first summer conversation with our friend, pastor of the pod this year, Pastor Mike Kelsey.
That sounds fun.
Mike Kelsey, it's time to go about summer.
I've been waiting for summer. I'm like, good Lord.
Listen.
Winter, everything. I'm like, let's talk summer.
You know what was so funny? I think I told you this, but when the winter episodes were coming out, the feedback I got about 6 weeks into winter was like, hey, we're not sure this new rhythm works. Hey, this is like not so fun. Hey, this is, and I was like, yeah, welcome to winter.
Welcome
to winter. But now we're in summer. Okay.
Let's go.
Tell me about your family. Are y'all summer people?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I'm definitely a summer person. My daughter, Ava, a summer person. Because we love joy. You know what I mean? All these melancholy people out here. No, Ashley is like a fall, especially in DC, the seasons and the, all the things. And I just want to be outside.
I want to be outside
That's
as
it.
quick as I can
That's
be. I
it.
told you I literally ran in for my flight to New York. And my plan this afternoon before it rains is just to get outside because it's warm enough.
Man. Yeah, especially in New York City. Get out. It's amazing.
Yes. So will you talk a little bit, let's sit there for a second before we get to go deeper into this. What is it about outside?
Oh my gosh, man. I think it's just that instant, direct connection with nature. And so there's something about, summer is longer days, shorter nights. There's just more sunlight. So it's just, you can be out more and longer. And so I think there's just, summer makes you want to get out and be with people.
Yeah. There's a question roll around in my mind a little bit though, because there are friends of ours listening who are like, I don't like it. I don't like being hot. I don't want to be outside.
Yeah.
And yet
that
there's
would be my wife.
Right. But there's a real important connection with experiencing breathing air that is outside air and the
Absolutely.
vitamin D of the sun. So talk to our friends who are like, I don't want to be outside. I'm not interested. Talk to them as they are trying to process how to do summer well.
Well, I think, first of all, just knowing how we're wired and made, like just biologically, whether it's your preference or not,
Yeah.
you need vitamin D. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
need sunshine, you need fresh air. We need nature and creation, and what nature kind of says to us that, you know, we are not totally in control, and there's this expansive just world that we get to enjoy. So whether it's your preference or not, I think pulling back and just looking objectively at like how we're made,
Yeah.
we need it. And it's the same thing we would say to other people about winter, right? A lot of people hate winter, but there are a lot of good reasons to appreciate winter, even if it's not your preference. So
Yeah.
I would say that same thing just for our folks out there that aren't summer people. There's just some things that we objectively need. Now, I know summer, on just a real level, it brings up all kind of stuff. I mean, summer is like, I should have put more work in on the
Yeah.
body. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? During the off season, before we
Trying to get summer bods.
before this bird chest is out here. You know what I mean, on the beach.
Bird
you know,
chest.
listen, it's not just the ladies that be out here feeling insecure. I just be out here like I should have done a push up or two.
Bird chest, Mike. I'm dying. That is so funny.
Yeah, man. But it brings up like those insecurities.
Yeah.
I think, the heat, the sweat, I mean, there's a lot of things that we may not necessarily like, but there's some good stuff
So
in summer.
we're going to talk about the great things about it too.
Yeah.
Also, I just watched a friend of mine's Insta story who has a special needs child. And she said, this is our Super Bowl. Like, this is the hardest time of the year. This is far more challenging than the school year. So for some of our friends listening, like, summer actually ushers in a harder season for probably a lot of parents of like, what camps are you putting the kids in? Both mom and dad are working. Where are the kids going? Like, what's your word for those of us that have like a little bit of a higher stress or real higher trauma in summer because of the change of rhythms?
Yeah, I think that stress, you mentioned parents, it is like, especially if you have school-age kids and you're used to them being at school, especially if you have kids with any type of special needs, it's a higher stress for sure. I think there are people where summer, hot weather, shorts brings out a lot of real insecurities. So I do think there are people who dread summer. I talk to my wife. I talk to a lot of women in our groups and kind of in our circles of relationships. And I joked about the bird chest thing, but this is true for guys too.
Yeah.
The summer can be more stressful even in terms of deciding what I'm going to wear because it forces your insecurity to the surface of your heart. And you can't hide it in the same way as you can in winter when you can put on a jacket and whatever. You know what I mean? So summer is not all, sunshine. It does bring some pain. So I would say, man, to people, it's okay. Just like we've been talking about with every other season, it's okay to be who you are and to be exactly where you are emotionally and in this season of your life.
Yes.
And we know that God not just understands that we're there, but he's there with us.
Yes.
And hopefully, and we'll talk about this more, hopefully we got some ride or die people that are right there with us too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Are you thinking, when you're thinking about that, of giving people permission? I mean, one of the things that stood out to me so much in spring, as you said, people want spring to be harvest.
Yeah.
People want springtime to be when you can go and get the thing you want, when you finally are holding what you wanted. And that's just not true. It's not true. And so we have these expectations of spring that spring did not meet for me this year. But we also have expectations on summer, Mike. What are your thoughts on some of the expectations we put on summer?
Well, even like I said it, like me and you, I mean, definitely you are 7, you're Enneagram 7, you know what I mean? But I love, like, I have an extroverted bent too. I want to be outside.
Yeah.
I think though, the reasons we want to be outside, we want to be at brunch, at the game, at the park with the people that we love and the friends that but for people, they don't have that type of community, whether it's romantically, like they don't have that person, or they don't have the friends. They're in a season of transition. They just moved to a new city.
Yeah.
They just, you know what I mean? And so you're almost on the outside looking into the lives that these people are living. I remember, and I can remember, this will sound weird, but I remember the transition from singleness to married, and particularly from married to kids.
Yeah.
I remember summertime was hard for me because it made me, the responsibilities of, I got kids now, I'm inside with the kids, or we're doing kid things during the summer.
Yeah.
It made me miss the days. I'm looking on Instagram like, I miss the days when it was just like
look at
load
Annie,
up the
just
car.
living it up.
Annie is out here in 2 different states.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's just
really
real, man.
interesting,
There
Mike,
are
yeah.
things that summer brings up that that can remind us of insecurity or loss, or sometimes remind us of what we don't have.
I did not think about that when I was writing my notes. I did not think about the opportunity summer brings to highlight our insecurities.
Yeah, that's real, man.
Yeah, because
That's
you're
real.
just wearing less. Like you're just,
Yes.
you're hiding less, you're wearing less.
It's
you're
harder
out in
to
public more.
hide in summer.
It's harder to hide in summer.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
What do we do with it? So we're bird chested, or we are not in the swimsuit we wanted to be in.
Yeah,
or we are just like suddenly realizing like I can't throw a hoodie on, as you have done today.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't throw
as
a
I
hoodie
have.
on, or I'll
Yes.
die. I'll suffocate.
Yes.
So I
yes.
have to wear a t-shirt, but I haven't worn a t-shirt. Like, how do we face those insecurities when they rise up over summer?
Yeah, I think we have to face them with courage. And I think the courage is, all I mean by that is the courage to actually face them. That's
Wow.
it. I don't even mean any more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just mean to look at yourself literally,
tell
or
the
maybe
truth.
it's figuratively, and just tell the truth.
Wow.
And then feel and allow yourself to feel that for a moment. It just is what it is. And so, yes, and I'm not saying it's superficial as in insignificant, but we're talking about the superficial kind of physical things, but some of the deeper things that you've talked about that summer exposes.
Yeah.
Even the sense of aloneness. Summer is when, everybody's out on a rooftop lounge. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
enjoying the warm evening, but maybe you're not.
Yeah.
So just the courage to say the truth. One thing I heard, we were just talking before this, Pete and Jerry Scazzaro, Mostly Healthy Discipleship.
Yeah.
One of the things I heard them say recently was, there is no spirituality without reality.
Wow.
And so it's very difficult for you to experience everything God wants you to experience if you're constantly hiding from reality.
Wow.
And so I think the courage to just name it, and maybe even the courage to name it with some other people that are safe for you and that you trust. So I think that's one thing. And I do think, just like in the other seasons, we said this during winter, I do think there's a little bit of like, you got to push yourself to get out there and enjoy and immerse yourself in the gifts that God wants you to experience in this season. And that also takes some courage.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
what does that look like, Mike? Is that just like you accept the invitation when you want to stay home and watch TV?
Except in the invitation to the cookout.
Okay.
You don't feel like answering the questions when you show up to the cookout. You move back home because that job didn't work out. You don't feel like answering everybody's questions. You don't
Right.
feel like answering another question about your dating life. And there's time to say, I need just some space.
Yeah.
But you can't stay there forever. And so, some of it looks like accept the invitation, go, be around some people.
Yeah.
Some of it is maybe it's not people, but like just go by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Just get out of your house.
Just get out your house. You know, mom, get out the house. You figure out a way to like get the kids held down. And if you're married, like the husband, like help, and just get out and just have some space to take that in. It's not an escape necessarily from reality, but it is allowing yourself to see the broader reality that your life is not just the thing that is painful or the thing that is hard. Your life is not just the thing that you lack and don't have.
Ooh, Mike.
So yeah.
What you drink this morning? What kind of coffee
Listen,
do you have?
dog, we
This time
coming
you
in
have to
hot
come and
today,
preach.
man. Listen, this is
You're on one.
this is coming out of life, man. It's coming out of life. There's just hard stuff in this season, even for me and for our family and for our church, and and there's times where for the summer oriented people, it's times where you just don't feel like yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
and that in and of itself can be hard because you just don't, sometimes you don't know how to show up in the ways that you normally would. And you feel foreign to yourself. So yeah, I think it's just real. I'm so glad you just started with just the reality that not everybody is hopping on here, has their
Let's go.
sundresses laid out and is like, I can't wait for
right.
the next Evite.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right. I think that's one of the challenges with seasons. It feels so profound when winter becomes spring. It feels so accidental when spring becomes summer.
Yeah,
Like,
you can
there's
miss
this-
it. You're like,
You're like,
yeah.
oh wait, I'm hot.
It's
June.
hotter.
And Memorial Day. If you're in the U.S.,
Yeah,
like Memorial
yeah,
Day, okay,
yeah.
I guess that's it. Even though
Yeah.
it's not. And so, Mike, I think some of the expectations I've had historically on summer seasons or on the actual summer is this is going to get better. Everything's
Yeah.
this is going to be a summer. It's going to be better.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I go, as soon as spring's over. And then I've accidentally fallen into summer and I'm not better. And then my expectations are devastated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you think about it, even just on a practical level, we grew up with that rhythm baked into us because you got school in the fall, you got
Yeah.
school in the spring, winter break is like this little break. We just kind of grew up in the school system like summer is it.
Yeah.
Summer is
yeah.
my best life. I get to go to camp or I get to
Yeah.
and then for others, we know that's what it should feel like. But we grew up with like, man, summer is I'm gonna be left at home by myself when my parents are at work.
Yeah. Right.
And I wish my parents were more present. And I wish we were going,
Right.
I talked to my daughter now. She got friends in her school who is like, they just going on overseas trips,
Yeah.
multiple. I'm like, I didn't leave the country till I was a grown adult. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But not everybody is out, on these amazing family vacations. So the expectations can cause a lot of pain.
Yeah. I think there's always, when I think about singleness, and I even think about this for my friends. I have a couple of friends who just got married, and now the only question they get are, when are you having kids? They're like, man, our season,
I can't even.
We just got married. Like, we're just
Let me live,
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so also, I think because there's this expectation on spring and summer that new things are happening, and here it goes, that there's also, even if it's in the very bottom of our hearts,
Yeah.
we are all expecting that God's going to give us the thing we want
Yeah.
because
yeah.
it's a better season.
Yeah.
And so I feel like respond to that. Do you feel like that's true?
I think it's true. And what came to my mind is not even for the person who's struggling with that. I think it's a good word for us as friends that seasons can change, but a person's experience has not.
Yeah.
And so, a person is no longer single, they're married, or they're married, they have a kid, or they got a new job, or circumstances in a person's life can change, and we automatically interpret that or assume that means that
Right.
everything is better now. And I think as friends, we have to learn how to discern, like, how is this person actually doing? Let me not just rush to this assumption that because the season changed, the circumstance changed, that they've changed, like, in their hearts, because they
Yeah.
might still be carrying that grief. There may be unfulfilled longings. So as friends, I think we could do a better job
That's so
of
good.
not imposing
Yes.
what we think their experience should be like
yes.
in that season.
Don't put
And
summer
just-
on anybody.
Don't put summer. That's so good. Don't put summer on anybody.
Yeah.
Just be with them, where they are.
That's really good.
That sounds fun.
Hey, friends, just interrupting this conversation to tell you about one of our incredible partners, Hiya Health. We are all crazy about the mini BFFs in our life, right? And we want them to have everything they need to grow healthy and strong. This is why we're fans of Hiya's super-powered chewable vitamin for kids. Hiya has put the expertise of pediatricians and nutritional experts into filling the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment that my mini BFFs need with a yummy taste they love. Plus, they are approved by my nephew Sammy, so your kids can love them too. He gives them a big thumbs thumbs up. And if you are tired of trying to convince them to try their greens, Haya now has a Kids Daily Green Plus Superfoods. It's a chocolate-flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids, packed with 55 plus whole food ingredients. You just scoop, add milk or any non-dairy beverage, shake it up and sip it for a nutritious boost that your kids will actually enjoy. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. My friends get 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, though, you have to go to hayahealth.com/thatsoundsfun. Again, that's HIYAHEALTH.com/thatsoundsfun and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. And one more incredible partner I get to tell you about, Thrive Causemetics. Whatever your summer makeup vibe is, whether you just throw on some moisturizer and a little mascara, or if you're headed somewhere fun and want a full face of glam, Thrive Causemetics has the products you are going to love that are both clean and give back to help communities thrive. Their products are vegan and all made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, but I love this about them too. They've donated over $150 million worth of product and cash funds to over 600 giving partners across the U.S. Their donations support 8 major causes, including those affected by cancer, homelessness, domestic abuse, and more, reaching individuals from all walks of life. And Thrive Causemetics' transformative impact is made possible through the support of their wonderful customers. I'm obsessed with their Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara, and I know I say it all the time, but it's truly my favorite mascara out there. I have it on literally right now. I am sure you've seen it. It's the vegan tubing mascara in the turquoise tube that you see all over the internet. It has over 40,000 5-star reviews, including one from yours truly. There are 6 shades that last all day without clumping or smudging or flaking and make your lashes look like extensions by lengthening and defining them from root to tip. Plus, it is super easy to get it off at the end of the day, which I always appreciate about 9 o'clock at night. Try your new trusty favorites with an exclusive set just for our listeners. New customers can get the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara and a mini-sized Brilliant Eye Brightener at a special set price with free shipping at thrivecausemetics.com/TSF. Like, that sounds fun. Again, that's Thrive Causemetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/TSF. Okay, now back to our conversation with Pastor Mike.
That sounds fun.
Are you and Ashley and the kids going to get rest this summer? Do you get a break with hard stuff going on? And
Rest? What is rest?
Yeah, that's what we got to talk about. That's my list. That's what we got to talk about next.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to. I'm fighting for my life, man. On that, I've said it before. For me, and I've been on a journey over the last couple of years of just growing in emotional health and spiritual health. You know, we're all talking about slow down, spirituality, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, growing up, unhealthy was normal, so healthy was weird.
Wow.
And so whenever I would be around healthy people, I didn't see it as healthy. I just saw people were weird or weak. And so rest to me was like, y'all are soft. Like y'all don't have enough grinding, enough hustling you. And me, I joke with my dad even now. One of my main core messages I got growing up, and there's a phrase, if you talk to any of my brothers, we would just say it off the top. My dad would always say, suck it up and get it done. And so that just became a way of life. So I am trying, the Lord has been so patient, and I'm changing, which is great. So I'm fighting to value rest. And then to actually incorporate it. So for us, this summer, man, we just decided early on. We didn't even know what we were doing, where we were going. We just blocked off weeks to just be like, it's just. And I know normal, healthy people do that. They're like, you block off. You know what I mean?
Called vacation, but I hear you.
Called vacation. Oh, there's a word. That's what the word is.
Yeah.
I got you. Vacation. I've heard of that. And we just blocked it off and just trying to have those rhythms. And summer's a great time, for that, especially for us with how we're wired and just want to get out and do stuff. So.
Will you talk through your weekly, monthly, yearly social media thing?
Yeah. I take off social media 1 day a week, 1 week a month, 1 month a year. And then I actually have realized that's not even enough. So I even have to have better rhythms in my days.
Yeah, I feel like you're not posting all that much, bro. I'm right there.
I've posted one time this year. It was on my stories, and it was from something that Jerry Scazzaro said.
Yeah.
And that has been somewhat intentional, just because I just needed. I still love learning things, tracking with people. I needed a break from the pressure of producing and feeling like you gotta be. And for some of us, that's a part of our jobs, and it is a kind of a part of mine. I'll get back to doing it, but I just needed to kind of step away and just rest for a little bit. So I'm still present, I'm still active in that way, but I just haven't been posting a whole lot.
It is. I don't find it making me healthier.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't find it giving me the best advice. I don't find it.
I said this to our church. I had at the end of last year, and I always take January off. But at the end of last year, just looking at my own soul, I realized what is the net effect of social media on me right now in this season. It might not be true for everybody or even for me at all times. And I found that social media was making me more lustful, more angry, and more discontent and envious.
Wow.
That was the net effect for me. And I had to be honest with myself about that, and just say, all right, there's a lot of positives for me in consuming it and producing on social media. But the net effect for me in that season was just more lustful, more angry, and more discontent and envious. And I was like, all right, I just need to take a step back and just recenter my soul and my life. And so, yeah, I said that to our church, and I don't think they were expecting. They were cool. I think people be cool with me saying I was more discontent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like more lustful, they were like, oh, Pastor.
They're like, yo, don't talk. We don't want to hear that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's good,
So,
Mike.
yeah.
They need to hear us say that. People need to hear us say, like I say a lot when you've probably heard me say this, but when I talk about bringing Oreos in my house, I don't bring Oreos in my house if I don't tell Nancy, because that is the first secret yes that leads to who knows what else I'll do in the secret.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so
yeah.
it always surprises people when we say stuff like that. But I'm like,
When we're just
what do you want
honest.
me to tell you?
Yeah,
You want me to tell
yeah.
you that I don't think about that stuff? You want me to tell you that I
Yeah,
don't know how to
man.
Google? You want me to tell you that I don't watch and read? Like,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
if I can do one thing in secret, I can do anything in
Yeah.
secret.
Absolutely.
So what
Absolutely.
are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
I'm glad you tell them that, because people got to know that when we don't talk about it is when the people who are drowning in it don't talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm like, I've seen too many people, and you are a public leader. We've all seen it happen where we feel this pressure, and so then we hide the darker parts of our lives and our struggles, and then that stuff grows in the dark.
Yes.
And so I'm just like, listen, here's what you're gonna get: a human.
Yeah, that's right.
You're gonna
Your
get a
pastor
human
is a
who
very human.
is human and has the same Holy Spirit that you have if you're in Christ, and is loved in the same way with the same grace and patience that God has. And so we're all in it together, man.
I'm thinking about when you say that. I take a month off in the summer from social media.
Yeah.
So my month is end of June into the middle of July.
Yeah.
And for the first couple of years, it took me 5 days before I was like feeling the loss.
Yes. Yeah.
And then my hand just stopped. And then probably it took me another 3 days for my hand to stop opening my phone and opening Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Last year, Mike, I did not miss it. I mean, the minute I got to delete it,
Yep.
I was like, I think I'll come back.
Deuces.
Can't be
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
it is, I appreciate that the conversation around socials, particularly when we want to rest, is like, don't go here. This isn't your rest. If you're looking for
This is
rest
not.
this summer, it is not scrolling on Instagram or TikTok.
It's not. And it feels like it is. It's distraction. It's relief. It's emotional relief in the moment. That's not the same thing as rest.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty benign form of relief for some people, but there's other forms of relief that can become really unhealthy and dangerous, and that cycle can just become it can just entangle you.
Yes.
And so we got to learn better, more healthy ways of actually resting. And that's the journey I've been on. I didn't even value rest. I thought it was for the weak. I mean, I would want to go to sleep at night, but in terms of what real rest is, and man, it's been, that's why I said I'm fighting for my life, because it's such a fight to like those deeper areas of growth, to say, why do I feel the need to constantly be on and to constantly go?
Yes.
Why can't I stop? Why can't I have a vacation? Why can't I get off social? And those are the deeper, more profound, more helpful questions. Why?
Yeah, because
You know
our
what I mean?
first answer is, I don't have the time or I don't have the money.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
the first, and you're like, okay, put those on the table. And
Yeah.
now ask yourself again, why am I not
Yes.
doing this? Because
Let's go
you
deeper.
when you have a surgery, you find the money.
Yeah.
And when you have a kid,
Yeah.
you find the money. And when
Yeah.
you've fallen in love, you find the time. And when you're,
Absolutely.
like, you've got the
Yes.
time and the money. So put those
You
on the
got it.
table and then ask yourself, why are you
Something
really
deeper,
not
man.
resting?
It's something deeper. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
It's always something
Yeah.
deeper, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely, always something deeper, and
Yeah.
definitely for me, because I'm like the least emotionally aware person and
That has
so,
not been my experience of you, Mike.
Listen, man, it takes time
Yeah.
to get to go deeper, and I think doing that in community is scary, and sometimes can be painful because you can get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're doing that in community, but it's been so life changing for me, especially around that topic of rest.
So what kind of rhythms are you, like what kind of hobbies or activities are you finding that are helping you and Ashley and the kids rest?
It's baby steps. Annie F. Downs.
You're like, don't ask me that. I'm
You're
just
gonna start
it's
with
on
rest
the calendar,
and then
Annie. Let that be
vacation,
enough.
and now we're talking about hobbies. No, honestly, I'm being dead serious. Your whole platform, your book, the ways that you have talked about fun is the first real time I ever really heard somebody articulate fun as a part of spirituality.
Yeah.
And so it really challenged me. So actually one of the things I've been doing, I don't know how long now, is I've been keeping a list of the things that bring me delight.
Oh my gosh,
And
just
I-
in your phone?
And on a
notepad?
on my Apple Notes on my phone. And I've just been
love it.
keeping a list because not everybody needs to do that, but people would always ask me, what do you enjoy or what brings you joy? I could never answer it. And so I literally where's my phone? I literally have a note on my phone about what brings me joy. And every time I experience something, it could be something big or something small, I'll just write it down. So
Yeah.
I have, all right, so one of the things on here is a ginger date oat milk latte at this cafe here in Maryland. Like, it's so small, right? Our fireplace at home playing basketball. Because I personally need, and this is, I think, one of the joys of summer is the summer, the conditions, the environment.
Yeah.
It just provides maybe some more opportunities to do some of these different types of things. And so I personally I got to have some reminders to go to and be like, yeah, what are the things that fill you up?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times my personality in the moment, I just don't even remember. And what I'll do is then I'm just going to fill that empty space with more work.
Oh, wow.
And so I got to be like, okay, let me just go get that specific latte, or let me
Right,
remember
right.
that these particular friends are life-giving and not draining for me. And we haven't hung out in a while and we need to get together. You know
That's
what I mean?
good, Mike, because I think a lot of people think I will only rest if I get 8 days in the Bahamas.
Right.
And I
Yeah,
can only
yeah.
rest if the family goes to Disney, or I can only rest
Yeah.
if I get 5 weeks off of work. It's like,
Yep.
no, you can go get the latte
go
that you
get a
like
latte.
and
Yeah.
let that 30 minutes and that $9 or whatever it is
Yes.
count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta
Well,
shrink
you
it
in, you in
down.
New York City.
Listen.
That's $17.
True. It is so bad. It is so bad. It's supposed to rain today, and the cab driver was like, go get your groceries now. And I was like, I ain't got the money.
I ain't got some money.
No, I packed some beef
man.
jerky. It's going to hold me. But I think that's one of the tricks of summer that I've experienced is when it can't be a big thing. When we
Yeah.
take the expectation off, the only way I rest is if it's huge and go, or
Yeah.
could I rest every day?
Yeah. I think you got to find whatever it is that brings you joy, know what those things are, so that you can go to those things when you need rest. And we know God is our refuge, God is our rest, and we can go directly to him, and that's a huge part of it. But God is also the giver of every good and perfect gift. God is also the one who allows us, I love it what it says in Psalm 145, to drink from his river of delights and feast on the abundance of his house.
Wow.
And so God uses things and people to give our souls rest, but we got to pay attention to ourselves enough to know what are those things. It's going to be different for all of us.
Wow.
And we got to give ourselves permission to go to those places as opposed to just filling those things with things that bring temporary relief, but they don't bring us rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there, and the other things, I have a couple of other things coming to my mind. I'm curious if you do too, or what are some other things we could step away from? For example, alcohol.
Yeah.
For example, sugar. For example, there's just a couple of things that when I am stressed and tired that I will go to before rest that are actually stopping rest. Often it's scrolling.
Yeah.
Are there any other things coming to your mind that just might ping some hearts?
Yeah, I think some of the things you mentioned, I mentioned one for me, work. There's a lot of us and work, I mean that broadly. It doesn't just mean your 9 to 5, right? It just means just constantly producing something for other people. And we go to that. I think, Netflix and YouTube and some of those entertainment things. Yeah. I think it could be people that are not healthy for us.
Ooh, say
but they
it.
make us listen. I'm not trying to be all in y'all business, but I'm just saying, like, it could be those long conversations. It could be those dates. It could even be like family members where there's just a codependent, unhealthy dynamic there, and that person they're just not a healthy, at least right now where they are and where you are.
That's right.
They're not really healthy for you. You know what I'm saying? They just pull you into more drama and more gossip and more, it's not rest.
Yeah.
So I think we will, by default, we will reach for relief because rest actually takes work. It actually takes us doing some things and structuring some things and making an effort to get to those things that bring us rest. It's just way easier to reach for the things that bring us temporary relief or people that bring us temporary relief. And that's why we stay in those cycles, man.
That's right.
Honestly, I mean, me and my wife we've talked about this, like after a long day, sometimes, bro, you don't want to do nothing. You just want to sit on a couch and just veg out. But then it's 1 a.m. in the morning and you're kicking yourself because you got to wake up. And that has been a thing for us. Just like, all right, we need to reevaluate that. We love it. And for us, it's time together. Or even if I'm solo, she's out, one night or something like that. I love just sitting and watching the West Coast, NBA games or whatever. Yeah. But sometimes it's like, that's not the best thing I need for rest right now. Yeah. I actually need physical rest.
Will you talk a little bit about, because I think a thing that I have felt before about rest is if I don't get it right, that there's a right and a wrong versus the idea of practice. And like, this one didn't work. This one did work. I didn't have enough time. I had too much time. Will you talk a little bit about, like, as we're kind of pursuing rest this summer, how do we practice rest versus giving ourselves a report card? Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I'm learning, and I know I keep shouting out Pete and Jerry Scazzaro, Emotionally Healthy Discipleship. I've just been learning. They've been mentors to me and Ashley along these lines from a distance and up close. And I think one of the things they've been teaching me is rest really is a way of life. And it is a way of seeing the world. It should be. God designed it in many ways to be the default setting of our hearts, that we have rest in Him, that our hearts are not reaching and striving. Psalm 23, right? He's the Lord is our shepherd. I shall not want. Yeah. It doesn't mean circumstances are always what you want them to be, but there is a place in God that you can get to in your soul. Wow. Where your soul's at rest. So I love the idea of then practicing that. And God is much more patient with us than we are with ourselves. Wow. And so we're in process. And so you're learning how to do this. And that's why I'm keeping this list, because it's me studying myself. Brilliant. And trying to figure out that doesn't work, but this does. And so, yes, I think practice it, try some things, and that might not work for you. And here's the other thing. There's some things that bring you rest in some seasons, but they don't in others. Giving yourself permission to say, well, that ain't it. In this season. And then everybody has the same expectations of you in this season, based on who you were and how you moved in the last season. And you have to allow yourself to say, well, that's just not me right now in this season. That's just not what I need right now. And so that's a part of it too, is then helping to inform other people's expectations. So I
funny
think we're
that our
in
whole
process,
summer
man.
conversation ended up being about expectations. That is so funny.
Yeah, it's true. Wow. Because summer, I think in many ways, is the season probably that carries the most expectations.
Yeah, I feel like it might. Yeah.
the pool, the beach, the vacation, the whatever, the rest.
The recovery. Yeah, this year has been hard.
Yeah.
Surely this is the recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That ain't it. That ain't it. I mean, summer will disappoint you every time when you ask it to heal your entire year.
Oh, can you say that? Say
Right.
that again, please.
Yes, summer will disappoint you every time when you ask it to heal your entire year.
Your entire
It just
year.
will. And that's
Got
what
it.
we want that's what I want from summer, Mike. Sitting in the
Absolutely.
middle of summer starting, I
Yes.
want summer to relieve me from the
Yes.
stress of the last 9
Yes.
months. And that's too
Yes.
much to ask
It's
for a
too much to
3-month
ask.
window of time.
Yeah. But listen, here's what I think summer can do. And I think even just naturally, right? Summer is a time, a season of abundance, right? It's things are in full bloom and birds are out and like all these things. I think summer can remind us that is true, that we live in an economy of abundance because God is a God of abundance. Now, that's certainly true for those of us who are in Christ and we have a personal relationship with God. But what I want to tell people who don't even know God, aren't even sure they believe in him, is that's true for you too.
Yeah.
Even though you may not name it that God is the giver of every good and perfect gift, period. And everybody in humanity, that verse I mentioned, Psalm 145, when it says, he allows us to drink from the river of delights and feast on the abundance of his house. It says that about all of humanity. Yes. So summer cannot heal our entire year. It can remind us, though, even for a brief moment, that we do live in a world of abundance. And sometimes that abundance goes dormant, but it's still there. Yeah. So it is a moment, I think, and if we can just seize what summer is trying to teach us or remind us of, it can at least be a refresher or a reminder as we go back into the reality of some of the things that we're lacking and some of the things that are hard.
Yeah. It's disappointing because I want us to have an entire summer conversation that's like, here's all the fun. Go to the amusement park, go to the water park, play outside. And that the longer I'm a person, the less summer plays out like that. That was really true when I was 7.
Yeah.
Because it was easy. I'm sorry to tell you, it may have been a pastor, it may have been John Tyson's sermon that I listened to, but it's Tyson. I heard him recently teach, and he was saying, talking about not worrying, like parents versus kids, God and us. And he said, how many times in the summer or when you were playing outside, when you were swimming, were you asking your mom at dinner, how's that stressful work situation going? You're not.
You're
not.
Yeah.
No, because kids are living it up in the summer while we are still meeting budgets, figuring things out, going to work every day. Yeah. But our hearts long for 7-year-old summer. Mine does.
Yeah. Absolutely. They do. And I'm gonna sit for a while with that phrase. You can't expect summer to heal your entire year. I really think people need to like sit with that.
Yeah.
And like allow that to set you free. Like you are either you're putting too much expectation on this season, or everybody has so much expectation on this season for you, which can have the same exact effect.
Yes.
And just giving yourself permission to be like, it's not going to heal my entire year.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know what I mean?
That's
That's such a word and so helpful.
I feel like I learned that from someone. I feel like I may have learned it from John Eldridge, so I cannot take credit for it. But
listen,
it has healed me. It has released me, and it lives in me now. True.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Hey friends, just interrupting this conversation one more time to tell you about one of our incredible partners. Y'all know by now that my morning routine includes AG1. I truly feel more clear-headed and energized during the day when I start off my morning with it. I mix 1 scoop with really cold water and a hydration multiplier every morning, and I am ready for the day. And now AG1 has leveled up even more with their AG1 Next Gen. This upgraded formula has been clinically shown to increase healthy gut bacteria by by 10 times, all for the same price of less than $3 a day. It's packed with even more upgraded vitamins, minerals, and probiotics. Now, clinically backed with an upgraded formula, this is the perfect time to try AG1 if you haven't yet. I've been drinking AG1 for like 2 years now, and I am so happy that we get to partner with them. Subscribe today and try the next gen of AG1 for less than $3 a day. If you use our link, you'll also get a free gift with your first order. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/soundsfun. And I have one more incredible partner to tell you about, Our Place. Okay, if you're doing some projects around the house this summer and it's time to sort through old pots and pans, may I please introduce you to Our Place. The thing about a lot of our old cookware is that it's made with forever chemicals. No, thank you. I care about what you're putting in your bod, and I don't want you getting chemicals in your food. I've been loving Our Place. Their cookware is so cute, like truly beautiful pieces you'll want to leave out on your stove. But even better, they're nonstick, super easy to clean, and totally free from toxins. I'm telling you, they have the best pan to make your scrambled eggs with. If you've been thinking about upgrading your kitchen game, their cookware set is the perfect place to start. You actually save $150 when you grab the bundle. So stop cooking with toxic cookware and upgrade to Our Place today. Visit FromOurPlace.com/TSF, like that sounds fun. And my friends can use the code TSF for 10% off site-wide. With a 100-day risk-free trial, free shipping and returns, you can experience this game-changing cookware with zero risk. And now let's go back and finish up this fun summer conversation with Pastor Mike.
That sounds fun.
You mentioned earlier a thing I don't want us to skip over. You talked about the people that are doing summer with you and how community matters here. So will you take a couple of minutes and just kind of shift us to like getting other people involved, or what does it look like to be in community well in the summer?
Yeah, I mentioned this on, I don't remember which episode it was, we were talking, Parker Palmer, who has a book, golly, I'm forgetting what the name of the book is, but he has a chapter toward the end, the back of it, where he talks about seasons. And he's been such a helpful guy, but listen to what he says, and I just didn't think about this connection. He's talking about abundance.
Yeah.
And he said, authentic abundance does not lie in secured stockpiles of food or cash or influence or affection, but in belonging to a community where we can give those goods to others who need them and receive them from others when we are in need.
Wow.
And I love that picture, because his whole point is, in nature, abundance happens because the community is out.
Yeah.
You know, the bees are doing this, and and he says the same thing is true for us. Abundance is not just like an individual affair. Abundance, by definition, really comes from community of giving and receiving.
Yeah.
And I just thought about that, and I'm like, man, that's so good, and that's so true.
Really good.
And so some of us are in like the peak of summer season, like, yes, it's amazing. And so you're in a position where you get to enjoy the abundance of giving.
Yeah, wow.
Of showing up for the friend, of giving the invitation, of planning the cookout, of getting the friend out the house. Others of us are in like the struggle. Yeah. We on the struggle bus of summer, and we get to enjoy the abundance of receiving.
Yeah.
And so that can be hard for some of us because of our trauma or because of our personalities. And so I think one of the things I love to say to folks in terms of community is like, man, and I know it's hard sometimes, but man, just the courage of receiving from other people in this season. Wow. And again, it's maybe saying yes to the invitation. Maybe not all the times, but sometimes. Maybe it's letting the friends come over and bring the dinner. Maybe it's more substantial, need than that. So that's one of the things I'd say is, man, hopefully there are some people around you who are reaching out. Yeah. And they're trying to help, and they're trying to be present. Yeah. And maybe you've been shutting them out because it's hard. Yeah. And it's not that you don't love them, and it's not, but it's just so hard right now. Yeah. And it just feels a little easier to be alone. And so I would just say, man, receiving. I do think, man, just doing some fun stuff, you know what I mean? Knowing, man, what brings you life, finding some other people where that brings them life, and y'all do some of that together.
That rolling list is so helpful, Mike.
Man, it's been a game changer for me.
Thank you for teaching us to do that. I'm going to start doing that. Even as a person who can run into fun on accident, it still really serves me As you're talking about the power of that list, it really serves me when I'm thinking about it, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, there are little joys I miss every day because it's not on my list.
Not on the list, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need, like, again, the latte example is helpful for me because sometimes
Yes.
you just got 30 minutes.
Yes.
You don't have vacation money.
Yes.
You got latte money.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
so I think that's helpful. I think another thing for those that are people of faith, and particularly Christians, I think the local church is just in a season like this is just a place for community, and it can also be a place of hurt. I know that.
Yeah, sure.
But Lord willing, you have access to a healthy church, and just being present, being involved, allowing yourself to be known, and then pursuing other people, who may be anonymous or maybe in a season where they're kind of drifting a little bit. I think all of those are ways to kind of engage in community. And listen, I know that looks different for different seasons and different stages of life and different relationship statuses, but I think all of us need to be givers of that gift in some seasons, and then receivers of that gift in other seasons.
Yeah. So summer's going to turn into fall before we talk to you again, Mike. Yeah. And fall is beautiful, but it is also harvest and death and darkness is coming. Yeah. All the things. Fall is beautiful to me, but it is the least interesting because it's where it's taken us. The back half of summer, and we're going to have some episodes I think you're going to love about the harvest that's going on right now in the world, including with your coworker, Mr. David Platt, Pastor David Platt.
Yeah.
But, there is a harvest thing that happens at the end of summer and the start of fall that's part of the transition, the seasons. Will you kind of give us, right now, it's really fun having pastors on and talk, even in the middle of hard seasons, even in the middle of what's going on, there's something different going on right now in churches. And it feels like there's a harvest here.
Yeah.
Will you talk a little bit about what McLean's experience? Like, what are you experiencing as a pastor that gets us kind of excited about the harvest coming?
Yeah, I mean, I see, I think there's a lot of talk about this kind of harvest vibe happening in younger generations, which I think is true.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways, I was just talking to somebody, history typically is an overreaction. And I'm hoping it's not just that, but I think in some good ways, people have been fed up with what they've seen to be fake. And so people want the real thing. And so I think it's a great opportunity for the church to just be real, speak real truth, be real people. So yes, I see that with younger generations, but I see it in general, man. I think there's a hunger for just the authentic presence of God. Wow. And I've seen that in like our worship gatherings. I've seen that in people's lives, that people are hungry. They don't just want to go through the motions because they realize that it looks nice. Like you can present well and still be very empty inside when you just go through the motions. People are like, I want this. When Jesus talks about abundant life, that don't just mean going to church 2.5 times a month and tithing and what. No, that's there's got to be something more.
Yes.
And I feel like people are like, there's got to be something more, and they're getting after it. They want that, and they're like, who's gonna tell me that there's something more and how to actually live into that and experience that, even if it costs. Yeah. And that's what I see people really wanting. And so we see that in our church and are trying to lean into that, disciple people well, preach toward that, and live that. I think one of the biggest things for me, younger pastor, was learn something and be like, let's implement it and let's preach it. And I think now I'm like, everything I learn, first and foremost, is because God is trying to change me. And so I'm like, and I don't know if it's just a function of getting older or more mature, of being discipled well in this season, but it's like, nah, that stuff needs to pass through me. Wow. And then I am pouring out of the overflow of who I am and who I'm becoming and what God is doing in me. Yeah. And so I see that same hunger in me and that same passion and desire. Man, Lord, I want everything you have for me. And it's on a lot of it's on the other side of cost and sacrifice and what the world sees as loss. That's right. But I want it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking with a friend at dinner the other night, and we were talking about like what we will never be known for, because people don't know, is obedience. Like you'll never be known for obedience because it's always in the secret place.
Golly. Yeah.
But in front of God, like when God sees me, I want him to be like obedient. She was obedient. And no one else ever, I mean, you might see, because I might tell you a story and go, hey, Mike, you're in my real life. Let me tell you what God's doing, or our team may see or whatever. But we don't get to be known for that stuff you're talking about publicly.
Yeah.
You get to be known for that in front of God.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, we've gotten the opportunity to be around some prominent leaders.
Yeah.
And there are leaders that you respect so much from a distance, and you respect them less when you get up close.
Yeah.
And then there are other leaders, you respect them so much from a distance, and then you respect them so much more when you get up close.
Yes.
And I always say this, and it's because I know him personally, but I was a fan before I was a friend. David Platt is one of those leaders.
Absolutely.
And he's one of those where the more I spend time with him, the more I watch his life, the more I watch him walk through personal and public pain.
Yes.
His integrity, his intimacy with God, his joy. And I want to be that. I want to be that for other people. I want to be that for my friends, for my church, for my kids. You know, I don't want my kids to look and be like, he was something else on stage. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
But let me tell you about what he was like at home. Now, I want them to be like, y'all only got the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that's right.
Y'all really
That's
only
right.
got to see what he decided to show, you know, on stage and
That's
in public.
Platt, isn't it?
That is absolutely David Platt, for sure. It's actually kind of frustrating, because I'd be like, Platt, you gotta let me see. Tell them, please, like, help us, lead us, teach us. Man. And I honestly would say the same thing about you, Annie. Like, you're so fun and funny, and I was cracking up laughing, and we were just having dinner and just like stomach hurting laughing the first time we ever met each other. But then the more and more I get to know you and realize how real and authentic you are, and you're genuinely trying to follow Jesus and love people, and you're also super honest about your humanity and imperfections. Like, I want to be surrounded by people like that, and I want to be a person like that. So all that is a part of what I see in this harvest that people want in others, but I see more of a passion and desire in ourselves.
Yes.
To try to close that gap by God's grace as much as possible between who I present myself to be publicly and who I actually am.
Yes.
Because who you are really is who you are in private when nobody sees you.
It is.
And
that's
so
100% true.
You can fool everybody else. You can't fool God, and really can't even fool yourself. Yeah. And so you got to be with yourself when you go to bed at night. And so
that's right.
I see if I could summarize what I see and how I see God moving, it would be that. It would be people wanting to see in public leaders, but wanting also to see in themselves and learn, how do I live in a way that there's real integrity in my life. Yeah.
You do that, my friend. I'm really grateful.
Thank you, man.
That is true. That is true. I like sitting here thinking through the list of our friends that I'm like, people here, we could buzz off 8 people that suffer so much more than the public ever knows. And you just go like, yeah, they suffer, but they just get up and do. They get up and do because they're following the gospel, and they're running hard, and they're about the harvest. And you're like, absolutely, man, when we get to heaven, I'm going to be mowing grass. I'm going to be mowing grass, and they're going to be sitting and resting.
Absolutely.
So, with pleasure.
Absolutely, man.
Just let me in, Lord. Just let me in.
Yes.
He will, everybody. Don't panic. Don't worry about my salvation, y'all. Settle down.
Grass.
I just want to mow the grass.
These yards are going to look terrible if it's me and you out here mowing grass.
Listen, no kidding. Okay, what did we not say about summer you want to make sure we cover? Anything?
Oh, man. I just think, man, like, I just want to put an exclamation point on everything we said, and particularly for me, just the reality that we live in a world of abundance, even when it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And just being able to trust God enough to know, God, you have enough for me. You do. You got enough for me, and you may not be able to see it or feel it or experience it right now in this moment, and God has his reasons for that, because he's doing something in the midst of what you're feeling, but I just keep coming back to that in my own life. Man, God's a God of abundance. I'm in a relationship with him. Yes. So I live in abundance. I do. And like literally saying myself, I do. In this moment, I do.
Yes.
And yeah.
That's good, Mike. Thank you, as always, for making time to do this.
Yeah, man. Thanks
Matters
for
a
letting me
ton
do it.
to us. We got one more to go. 3 down, 1 to go.
Come on, let's
That's
do
just
it.
quick. Listen, you know how this goes. When I figure out what we're doing in 26, I got to figure out what you're doing in 26. So I don't think we've done a podcast year without you as a central character in a while.
And actually, I just do what Annie F. Downs tells me to do. I show up what she tells me to show up. That's just it. Period.
You haven't written the book yet.
Well, I haven't done that. We don't have to talk about that right now.
I'm just saying. There is one more thing on my to-do list currently for Pastor Mike Kelsey.
True.
So we'll
That is
just
true. Yeah,
just remember
yeah.
that. All right. Well, y'all have a good summer. Hug your family for me.
Too. Yeah, love you, man.
Thanks, pal. Love you too. You guys, isn't he awesome? Oh my gosh. Every episode with Pastor Mike Kelsey is better than the last. They just keep getting better. I mean, I feel like he led us somewhere really important walking into summer that I was not planning on. I think that is so cool when God does that. So if you have not grabbed your TSF Seasons Guidebook, you're going to want that as we keep going through summer. Spoiler alert, I've recorded a couple of other episodes that you're already going to hear this summer. Note takers. People are bringing the heat in the hottest season of the year. So AnnieFDowns.com/seasons for that. And make sure you head over to social media. Tell Pastor Mike, thank you so much for leading us into each season this year of the podcast. Now that summer is kicked off, if you're looking for some extra series to listen to while you travel or sit by the pool, check out any of our EnneaSummer series. I know a lot of y'all got here through our EnneaSummer series over the last 6 or so years. So we'll link those in the show notes for you as well. Or check out our Summer Lovin series from 2023 about dating. It was so fun and very helpful. If you have any questions from this episode, you can drop them in the Q&A box on your Spotify app if you're a Spotify listener like me, or send them to us on Instagram at That Sounds Fun Podcast. We'll try to answer them there. If you need anything else from me, well, the reality is today starts my summer Sabbath. I have a couple of weeks where I will not be on the internet, taking a break, just like Pastor Mike talked about. So I will not be around for a little bit, but there's a lot going on the internet that you can pay attention to from us, from our team. But I'm going to take me a little break and have a little summer time off. It's good for my soul and it's good for my heart. And so we'll see. I'll be back sometime in July. But, you know, I'm Annie F. Downs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all the places you may need me. That's how you can find me, except for the next few weeks. I think that's it for me today, friends. Go out or stay home. Do something that sounds fun to you, and I will do the same. And today, what sounds fun to me? Well, if I'm resting today, I hope I'm reading a book. I hope I'm warm outside. And I am grateful for a team that lets me take some time off. I'm grateful for you guys for supporting us in a way that allows us to take some time off. And I am thankful to God that He has good, healthy rhythms for my soul so that I can keep doing this thing we're called to for a really long time. Y'all have a great week. We will see you back here. Actually, on Thursday, we have a very special episode with another one of my favorite pastors, Pastor Jonathan Precluda. You may know him as JP. We'll talk to y'all on Thursday.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Check 1, 2 on the microphone. Annie F. Downs in your car to your home. Every week it's something new. A deep talk or an interview. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry. When it's dark out, she's a light.